see Janet. Susan, are you on? Might be on mute.
Sorry, I had a hard time getting back to this. I'm here, sorry.
Okay. Mitch, are you on?
Here.
Kate, I see you on as well.
Hey.
And is Jeff on? And I believe we're missing Chrislyn. Are you on? Oh, there we got Chrislyn now. I believe the only person we're missing is Jeff.
Yeah, I'm coming in and out on and close. I'm having connection issues all over the place here. So I may have to make someone else the host just so we don't lose the meeting.
Okay.
Let's see, I think Dan or Nicole, should I make you host and closed? Oh, you're muted. Should I make you host? Okay. All right, I'm going to make you the host and closed. No, it's just a matter of just managing the, I guess, being there just for the technology, just to keep it open. So there's really nothing to do in open. So, yeah, I've got, yeah, Dan is in there. Oh, so you're in, so. All right, sorry about that. I don't know if everyone's on, but I have technical issues in open. So Andy, can I just make you the host just for technological purposes, okay?
Sure.
All right, okay, all right. Just so I don't lose everybody. All right, so Andy's the host, but I'm here. So ready when you are, Amy.
All right, are we ready to get started? Can I go ahead and call it to order?
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 6:05 and a quorum of members is present, so the meeting of the Board of Education of the School District of New Berlin is called to order. Please call the roll.
Amy Crosby.
Here.
Mr. Helmer.
Here.
Mr. Kurth. Ms. Manley.
Here.
Ms. Schultz.
Here.
Ms. Unger.
Here.
And Ms. Wondercheck.
This is Jeff. I made it in finally. Hello?
Yep, we got it. Thank you.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And
I've been having connectivity issues. Yeah, so.
Ms. Wondercheck, are you here as well?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we can. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn into closed session.
Jeffrey Kurth, I make a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to section 19.85 to discuss employment and performance compensation matters pertaining to staff, negotiation strategies, and I don't have it in front of me, so if there's another one, somebody can add to it.
Do I have a second?
Janet, second.
Mitch Helmer.
I have a motion by Mr. Kurth and a second by Ms. Schultz. Please call the roll.
Mr. Kurth,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
Ms. Crosby,
Yes.
Mr. Helmer,
Yes.
Ms. Manley,
Yes.
Ms. Unger,
Yes.
Ms. Wondercheck.
Yes.
We are moving into closed session and will return to open session around 7 p.m.
I know it's very quiet. Am I in the right call-in number?
I believe so.
Okay.
They're in closed session right now.
Oh, I'm trying to get, this is Susan. I was trying to get into closed. I thought I was in. Okay. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
Diana, are we good to get started? Diana, are we good to get started?
Yeah, we should be whenever you are.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 7:06, and we are returning from closed session into open session. In recognition of the serious and important nature of our efforts here, we will join in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Please rise. Everybody please mute or your devices right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for those who wish to prepare for the meeting, we will have a moment of silence. This is a public meeting of the Board of Education. Prior to this meeting, notice was given to the public last Friday by posting the agenda at each district school, the district office, and the city library. The agenda was also posted on the district website. A copy of the agenda was forwarded to the Journal Sentinel, the Waukesha Freeman, and the Waukesha Now, all of which have filed requests for all public notices. First item on our agenda tonight is the Career Exploration Partnership Spotlight.
What I'd like to do is hand this over to Kelly Sanders to introduce our Career Exploration Partnership Spotlight.
So we have been bringing to you several things over the past couple of years that highlight some of our community partners, and we always align it with one of our teachers as well as our community partner and our students. So Kelly Kwiatkowski did an excellent job of getting this all done virtually, and so we're going to turn it over and showcase what Steve has been able to do for our students in the school district of New Berlin, and that he's been able to do. And so I will let you guys watch the video.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. I'm Kelly Kwiatkowski, Director of Secondary Teaching and Learning, and tonight I'm honored to present Steve Chepp, the CEO and founder of the Mad Seat, the Career Exploration Partnership Spotlight Award for the School District of New Berlin. Steve has been an impact on our K-12 system, starting with the Career Day presenter at elementary and secondary schools, followed by an IAID mentor the last few years. And this year, he provided an internship to our students at Eisenhower and West throughout the year in the area of game design and development. You're going to hear about the impact Steve had on the teacher as well as the students throughout this year, followed by a short video. Thank you, and congratulations again, Steve.
Hi, Steve. On behalf of myself and my students, I just wanted to thank you for all you have done for us. The students really value your expertise and they appreciate the time that you spent with them. During all these years, I have seen you as a game developer. But during our Game Jam program, I saw a caring, knowledgeable teacher who makes connections with students and inspire them to do their best. So from a colleague teacher to another, happy Teachers Appreciation Week. Congratulations on your recognition, well deserved. Best of luck, and I hope to see you soon. I think some of my students have some messages for you too.
Hey, Steve. It's Elijah. It's been a while since we were last able to talk because Game Jam, unfortunately, was kind of canceled due to this whole pandemic. But I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done for us and for the school. It's just been really cool to say I've been able to talk to a real game developer, and like you've been able to help me like understand what type of schooling I'll need and what I need to do specifically to get into this field. And it's just given me hope that there is a future in this field for me. So thank you, and we appreciate you.
Steve is a really great person. He's kind, friendly, and he talks one-on-one to different students, and he's done a lot for the school. And no one really required him to do all the different things that he's done, like Career Thursdays, where he came and talked about his life making video games for a career, to Game Jam, where he brought students in from graphic design and computer programming and brought them together to make a video game.
Thanks for the cool opportunity, Steve.
Greetings all. I hope everyone's doing well and staying healthy in this just unprecedented time of uncertainty. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve, and my company and I have had a partnership with both Junior Achievement and New Berlin School District for some time now. We've engaged in a number of things such as the IAD competition coaching. We've done many Junior Achievement talks. But maybe the most exciting initiative, and one that you may not have heard of up until today, is the Game Jam that we've been doing sort of a beta test for this last school year. In a nutshell, what this program is meant to be is a real-world simulation of, a game development job, or really just a general development job. It applies both ways. Through the course of the school year, the students are guided through the creation of an actual game that is consumer ready at the end, and they use all the techniques that they would use in those actual jobs in the real world. So effectively what it is it's a group internship. So anyway, I really want to take this opportunity to thank you for recognizing and acknowledging the work I've done so far. It means a lot to me, it means a lot to my company. But more importantly, I really wanted to commend New Berlin for having such an amazing school district. It's rare that I find a school district willing to take on these, what some would call radical experimental learning, but I can tell you from a personal experience, very personal experience, that this sort of education, this edutainment, this experimental learning, this is critical and so desperately needed in the American education system. So I really want to thank you for that. I hope that this partnership continues for many years and that we continue to grow it. And again, I want to thank you for the honor and recognition that you're giving me today. Thank you.
So we wanted to once again thank Steve for being such a great partner for us, and we hope to continue to showcase our partners with all of you as we continue over the next several years.
Great, thank you very much. That was a great example of the partnerships we have that really benefit our students and our community as well. Can everybody put their mics on mute if you are not speaking at the moment, please? Next item on the agenda is the President's message. I have one item I wanted to discuss, and that is last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and while it probably looked a lot different, actually it was a lot different than it usually is, I just, as the board, we wanted to just express our appreciation to our teachers and staff for their hard work and everything they've been doing, specifically in this distance learning environment. They are dedicated to our students. They are just continuing to work very hard to make sure our students are getting the learning that they need. We are, like I told the teachers in our email to the teachers, we are home to the best teachers all around, and we know that they are working as hard as they can to get our students to finish this year off strong. We miss them, and we can't wait to see them again when the time is right. So we'll move on to the next item, which is the district representative updates.
I would ask Diana if we could please go ahead and move forward with that. And then I'll provide my superintendent's update.
So you want the Poplar Creek tour?
Have a student rep update or not?
No, we do not.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and move forward with my updates. We would echo Amy and the board sentiments related to our staff doing an incredible job with the circumstances that were handed to us. While we know it's not perfect, we continue to strive to do the best that we can with what we have, and certainly look forward to the time where we can certainly have them back to our current setting. I did want to mention that there are a few pieces. We still continue to look for clarification from the state, well, from the national level, the state level, the CDC, and our local county health department. Things related to graduation continue to be in flux. I know that certain recommendations came from the state health department late last week regarding graduations. We still need to decipher what that all means and what that means for us here in the school district of New Berlin. We have been keeping our seniors and the senior families, as well as all families, in the loop as it relates to our current work, and we will continue to do that. And certainly we understand that we as a school district, we need to be flexible and accommodating to our students and their families because everyone is experiencing this in a unique way. And so we'll continue to do that. I did also want to mention that while we did discuss transportation adjustments for next school year, we did that at the last meeting. We were not prepared to have all the details for you at this meeting. And so we will be bringing forward said data that the board had asked based off of that presentation at the last meeting. And our hope is to have that in front of you at the next school board meeting. Then finally, did want to let you know that we are in the last leg of our current strategic plan that dated back to 2017. We take a 3-year approach to our strategic plans. I do know that the school board has also worked as we have to draft new goals and objectives based on our strategic goals as a school district. And our goal is to have that in front of the board in a draft form as early as the first meeting in June, and getting some sort of approval again with the work of the board and where they would like to see us move forward, as we have basically a district strategic plan that's supported by the school board, the administration, and the rest of our staff. So again, we will be bringing that forward to you over the course of the next couple of months so that we know where we're heading as we plan into the next 3 years post 2020. Those are my updates. And then I guess at this point, Diana, as mentioned, we have been trying to do building tours and having meetings at each respective school. Unfortunately, given the circumstances, we've had to do the last one at Ronald Reagan doing a virtual tour, and we now have done the same thing with our Poplar Creek Elementary tour. But I can tell you, you will be amazed at what they were able to pull together. Please note that there are some technical difficulties midway, so you may think your audio or your video may be glitching a little bit, but it's actually the video itself that, trying to align the audio and the video becomes extremely difficult when you're trying to piece all of these different recordings together. So please bear with us as far as that goes. And again, if you do have any comments, questions, I'll be happy to take those on behalf of the Poplar Creek administration and staff, and we'll get those to you as needed. So with that, Diana, if we can go ahead and play that video.
Hi, welcome to PC. You can't come to us for the tour, so we're bringing our tour to you.
And the students and staff that were going to be a part of this tour originally will now be a part of it virtually. Enjoy. Quick stop in the office for anyone who has not been to Poplar Creek before. Please know that you're welcome anytime. We also wanted to have you join us in congratulating Mrs. Moore as she retires from education after 24 years. We are fortunate that those last 5 years have been at Poplar Creek, and we cannot thank her enough for all of her work with students, staff, and families. We've learned a lot from you, Deb. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Maggie Blank, and today I'm going to be taking you around a school tour of two of the student favorite rooms around the school. I can't wait to get started, so let's go! Hello, and welcome to Poplar Creek's Makerspace. So, this room is a new addition to Poplar Creek this year. It is a room that allows kids' imaginations to soar. This room can be used for projects or to enhance students' learning. It has lots of different supplies, from cardboard to springs to modeling clay, so kids can create projects and add creativity into their schoolwork. It's a wonderful room that the students at Poplar Creek really enjoy. Here are now some photos of kids working in the makerspace. These pictures that you are seeing are of 6th graders. This year, 6th graders built 2 projects. They built ancient Egyptian cities and models of better energy sources that we could use as humans. The makerspace allowed so much of this to be possible and really let us be creative in our projects. So now here we are in Poplar Creek's library. Here's the seasonal display that's always fun to look at. Miss G, our librarian, does a great job decorating the library and keeping us entertained and interested in the theme going that month. Here we are now in the library's reading area. This is a space used for our librarian to read books to us, holiday, or a special occasion. Here is blocks that kids can sit on to read. But the cool thing is, they can be put together into a cube, and it's a puzzle that kids have been trying to solve all year. Next, let's go into the PCTV area and explore a little more about that. Here I am in the PCTV room. This room is used to do broadcasts in the morning. 5th and 6th grade students have the opportunity of being on this team, and they announce things like the lunch, the weather, and the daily announcement that the kids need to know. So behind me are computers, and those are used to make sure that the students have sound and they can see us well. And then this green wall is used as a green screen so that we can drop pictures in behind it and make our broadcast even cooler. I think PCTV is a great opportunity that our school has, and it's really fun to see the broadcasts.
PCTV continues even during distance learning. We do the Pledge of Allegiance every day. Students and staff send in videos and pictures and ideas and emails to contribute to the show and to show us what distance learning looks like at their homes. There are theme days like Top 4 Tuesday and Wellness Wednesday. Even joke of the day.
What's a cat's favorite color? Purple.
The show starts every morning with this saying.
Good morning, Poplar Creek students and staff and families.
And the show ends every day with this saying.
We're the Coyotes. We lead, believe, and achieve.
Just like it would if we were at school. The show is emailed to students and staff every day, along with being posted on Facebook and Twitter. Check out an episode.
4th through 6th grade hallway. It looks very different right now, but Annabelle's going to talk to us about what distance learning looks like at home.
At the beginning of distance learning, teachers were introducing students to the ways they picked to show the assignment. Me being a student myself, for the first day was a struggle, but you figured things out from PowerSchool to Google Classroom. When PowerSchool had a malfunction we all knew was coming, we went around it to find new ways to get things turned in. The sources I used as a 6th grader were PowerSchool, Google Classroom, Google Docs, and Google Slides. Kids are on the move, keeping up with schoolwork, and they even have time to do extra things like yoga. For physical activity, if kids have a trampoline or anything they can easily access all the time, it is nice for them to use it and get outside or get moving around. Things are going smoothly. The power school glitch was fixed. Kids are adjusting to this process and finding new ways to communicate to friends. Working from home allows kids to sleep in later and may even do better work, get a snack, and stay focused more. We are working together with Google Hangouts, Google Meets, and messaging and texting on phones. Kids and teachers are figuring out ways to turn in specials and other activities. The top picture is a second grader working in their PJs. The second one is Mrs. Donahue and a third grade student have a virtual picnic lunch. Doesn't that sound fun? Kids have this down. Getting up and getting to work faster is a way to come at this. Others are starting in the evening and sleeping in the morning. But once you are done for the day. Kids and teachers are finding ways to get together and take questions for homework and other work. These are some 4th grade students getting together on Zoom. Working together in these tough times is extremely important. And that's how our distance learning has gone.
Time to check in with some of our 6th graders as they share their favorite things about Poplar Creek before they move on to New Berlin West at the end of the year. We miss you all very much.
So there are so many things, great things about being a teacher at Poplar Creek. But one of my favorite things is being able to build relationships with past students that I had in grades and continue them on, because being a smaller school, you're able to see the older kids throughout the hallways and they are able to visit you throughout the day. Cameron?
I'm a student at Poplar Creek, and my favorite thing about going to that school is making new friends, because the smaller the school, the more people you know in the school. So it's a better experience for younger kids because they can make friends and they'll be with most of those people throughout their 6 or 7 years in that school.
My favorite thing about Poplar is the teachers and the people in general are nice.
Julia?
A very cool thing about Poplar Creek is buddy classes. You can do activities with older people.
Haley?
My favorite Greek is library about bullying and the right things to do.
Maggie?
So what I like about Poplar Creek is the teachers and the different learning formats they have to learn in different ways in each class.
Mariah?
My favorite thing about Poplar Creek are the teachers, because they make a very fun learning environment and also a very healthy one.
Well, we really appreciate all of your thoughts, and we too agree as teachers that that's really important at Poplar Creek.
Coyote Cafe. And right across from here, we have our school goal board. Again, just another way that we try to keep the goals out in front of the students every day. Let's see how we did. Our first goal is an academic goal in the area of reading. We want 92% of our students to be on grade level in reading, and we use 5 data points to measure whether or not students are in grade level. They are only required to meet 3 of the 5 criteria to be considered at grade level. First quarter, we had 70% of students on grade level in reading, and we increased that to 83% by our second data point after the winter map in January. Our second area that we focused on was in mathematics. Again, we're looking at how many students are on grade level, and we're using the map test data, classroom tests, and report card data, looking at specific domains that are important for mathematical learning. We want 96% of students to be at grade level in mathematics. First quarter, we are at 79%, and second quarter, again, that January map data point put 83% of our kids at grade level in math.
School action plan goal number 3 revolves around the disposition of citizenship. And here are the descriptors for that disposition that we like to share with the kids on the first day of school, and then many times throughout the school year, either in their classrooms or with time with Mrs. Moore and I. Our goal is to have 91% of our kids meeting those criteria for citizenship. And in first quarter, we had 82% of the kids meeting the requirement on their report card. And in second quarter, 88%. We are proud of our students for the growth they have made in this goal and attribute some of it to the peer mediation that's been going on in school, our Kindness Week activities that carry on throughout the school year, along with buddy classrooms that we have set up in order to create relationships between younger and older students. Our final goal for our school action plan is goal setting. And every student during Coyote time, which is our intervention block, has a goal that they have set in either reading or math or whatever subject they're working on. And we want 90% of those student goals to be met. And this is a goal that we monitor every 6 weeks, because as we meet with grade level teams every 6 weeks, we usually change the groups or change the focus and check the progress of what the students are working on during Coyote time. So in October, about 82% of those goals were met, and at semester, very similar numbers. And so depending on the grade level, depending on the students, some students have 1 or 2 goals that they're working on over the course of the 6 weeks. Other kids have more than that. And so we really wanted to have our third and fourth quarter focus to be around what students need, what action steps should they be setting in order to meet their Coyote time goal.
Our Coyote cafeteria is host to many school-wide events. Up there you can see banners from Crete Crawl's past. And Lexi is joining us to tell you about that event and our spring dinner.
Hi, I'm Lexi, and today I'm going to be talking about the Crete Crawl and spring dinner. Both these events raise money for our school and go to assemblies, our end of the year carnival, and any other thing the school might need. The Crete Crawl is something we do every year, and each year there's a new shirt. This is the shirt from this year. A student drew the design for it, because each year we have a contest and students can participate and draw a design that they would like on the shirt. Then all the students in all grades gets to vote on which design they want on the t-shirt. And the Crete Crawl is a really fun event. We all wear our shirts, we have a really fun time, and so I'm going to explain some more about it. This year, Mr. S had to wear jerseys from our rival teams as we met our Crete Crawl goals. It was really fun to see him wearing the opposite jerseys of pretty much everyone else. Each year, we have a Crete Crawl kickoff assembly at the end of the school day on the Crete Crawl. Sadly, this year, we couldn't walk through our normal path in the woods, but instead, we got to walk through the hallways with the lights off, and we all got to carry either a glow stick or a flashlight. Since we didn't get to walk through the trail on the night of the Crete Crawl, we got to do it later that week with our classes. And as you can see, some of our students are holding kindness rocks that our staff hid around on the trail. This is a picture of the night of the Crete Crawl in the gym when everybody's singing and dancing, wearing their Crete Crawl shirts, running around, having a good time. The spring dinner is at the end of March each year, and since we're all in quarantine due to COVID-19, we weren't able to have our spring dinner this year. But the spring dinner is really fun, just like the Crete Crawl. And since it's so fun, I'm going to explain it some more to you. In these pictures here, we have some of our Poplar Creek families getting nachos and quesadillas, because that's usually what we have at the spring dinner. At the spring dinner, each year we have a basket raffle, and each class puts together a basket. All the kids in the class donate items for their certain topic, and these are some of the baskets from last year's spring dinner. In our bottom right corner, we have a picture of a student entering tickets into a basket she wants to win. In the top middle picture, we have a picture of all the students gathering around to see who won which basket. And in the bottom right corner, we have a picture of a PC mom winning a basket. In these two pictures here, we have students playing on the playground during the spring dinner. Thank you all for listening to my presentation about the Crete Crawl and spring dinner.
We thank Lexi for her work on this presentation, along with her and her friend Elise last summer raising money for a doll like me. Her and other students like Rylan and his family, helping students out in our community, and as this next example shows, reaching out to other communities as their family was on a news program in New York for the money that they had raised and the doll that was delivered to this family. Our coyote kindness, our kind coyotes, continues throughout the year. Here's Girls on the Run taking donations from Poplar Creek families and turning them into blankets and toys for pets for Haws. A Grinch Day Celebration created by staff had students participating in Grinch-themed activities throughout the day, along with, again, donations from families that turned into a toy, hat, mitten, and food drive, getting the Grinch's heart to grow 3 times.
As we move into our gym and music area, Ari is here to talk about music and student council.
Hello, my name is Aristoteles Ziogas, and I am a 6th grade student at Poplar Creek Elementary. I love my school, and since kindergarten, I have made a lot of good friends, bonded with all my teachers, and made a lot of good memories. One of those good memories is student council. I earned getting into student council by having good grades, having a good behavior, and being involved with all the school activities. One reason I like student council is because we raise money for our different classes and for the school in general. And Mr. Fiker, Mr. Pauly, and Ms. Cullen, they give a good environment to all the students in student council, and they make us feel good about ourselves that we're doing this for like other people. Another good memory that I have is Miss Pratt's music. Since my brother was in 4th grade, I used to come and watch and listen to them sing for choir. And since then, I've always liked to sing and do music, do choir with Miss Pratt's. One reason I like Miss Pratt's is because we have a lot of different concerts, and with those concerts, we sing from different languages and like from different cultures and stuff. The last memory that I have, or the fondest memory that I have, is with the orchestra, with Mr. Spitz, the director. One reason I like Mr. Spitz is that he makes the environment of orchestra very positive. So he's very funny, he's always making people laugh, he's very kind. He makes everyone want to come to orchestra. And also, he is very attached with the students, and he wants all of them to be really good at whatever they chose to play. And for me, he helped me a lot with my WSMA State presentation. He helped me sign up for it, and I really thank him for me getting a good score. I remember every single teacher at Poplar Creek and everything they did for me and helped me. Poplar Creek rocks!
We like to end our school board presentations with this year's all-school picture. It was meant to be
Cody the Coyote's face, but as I was told, not all of our designs end up to be winners. So we will end with the real Cody the Coyote. Thanks for joining us on the tour.
So that is our, again, unfortunate preparation from Poplar Creek, but I thought the administrative team and staff and our students did an incredible job with the resources that they had to provide this virtual update to you, and certainly provide you some insights of the great work that's being done at Poplar Creek and throughout the school district. So with that, I'll hand it back over to you, Amy, to move forward in the rest of our agenda.
Yeah, just quickly, I think there was a question regarding either the Poplar Creek or the superintendent update. We're just, instead of adding it to the other agenda, I'll just quickly let that go right now. So Kristlyn, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. I just had a few questions for Joe about the COVID updates that he had given in his superintendent's report. I asked him, most of these questions I asked at our last board meeting, and I know that he was going to get back to me, so I didn't hear answers to these few questions. First, I know that we were going to be getting about, the state of Wisconsin allocated $5.25 million on April 7th to school districts. And I asked Joe about where we were at with that, or what our share of that was going to be to augment our digital learning. Did you find out about that, Joe?
As we understand it, we're eligible for approximately 70 to 80% of our Title I allocation, which is approximately $70,000 to $75,000.
Okay, and that's different from the. Sorry, go ahead.
And those dollars are yet to be determined on how exactly they will be distributed and when they will be distributed.
Okay, and that's different from the CARES Act money because that's a different pot.
And again, that's what we are only what we believe are eligible for the dollars that I just mentioned. Anything beyond that at this point is nowhere near the definity of what we have with the CARES Act dollars. So I guess what I will tell you is, as of right now, of all the dollars that are out there, there was also talk of more federal dollars being released to school districts that were in proposal mode. Certainly with all the conversation with small business and so on, that's taken a back seat just due to lack of revenue at the federal and state level. And so again, as of right now, the only additional revenue that we would be eligible for is that's approximate $70,000 through the CARES Act.
Okay, so that additional allocation that the state treasurer announced on April 7th, the $5.25 million, we have not applied for anything under that yet, or we are going to later, or what's the status of that?
So again, as of right now, there's no mechanism to even apply.
Okay.
Nor, again, if you were to split up 420 some odd districts in that $5 some odd million, and how they would allocate that, again, none of that has been determined as we are aware. So as of right now, that's all I can share with you, is that we have no more information than we had last week on the dollars that you are referencing.
Okay. And then as far as extended school year for kids with disabilities, I know I asked you about that last time too, and you said that I understand that schools are supposed to be closed through June 30th pursuant to the governor's order and the duration of the school year. So has there been any movement on that topic, Joe?
There has not.
Okay. And then with regard to our graduating sixth graders, I know that you said that you were going to be trying to get some more clarity on what PTAs and individual elementary schools are doing for their graduating sixth graders, because I was concerned that they should be offered some similar opportunities to our graduating seniors. Is there any movement on that?
As I understand, we have our administrators, building administrators at the elementary level working with their respective home and school groups to provide something. I know I was in communication with Kate last week or the week before about what was happening at Reagan, and I'm assuming similarly that's happening at all the other schools as well.
Okay, do you know when you'll know for sure what's happening with those different schools?
Sure. I mean, I can reach out to the elementary administrators to find out what they're doing. But
that would be
certainly
great.
something is happening, and again, I trust that they'll do that. But again, as far as I understand it, we're also doing 6th grade car parades that we're doing similar to the graduating seniors that we're working on to coordinate with the police department on that. But again, a lot of these things are still a work in process. And thanks for your understanding on that.
Of course. So as far as, and then with regard to a couple questions about the DPI, I know that you indicated that as a safety measure, we should apply for the waiver for instructional hours. So has that been done yet, or is that in process?
As mentioned in the last meeting, we will be doing that the first meeting in June.
That's when you apply for it?
That is when we will be applying for it, yes.
Okay. And with regard to, go ahead.
We need to have a public hearing in order to get that waiver processed. And the public hearing will be held the same night as the regular board meeting, and more details will follow.
Great. And then as far as the summer school issue, I remember at the last meeting, you gave us some detail about summer school membership, and that the membership would only count for purposes of the revenue limit calculation for students 7 through 12. I remember that you last told us that the emergency order is being considered and it would help districts like ours. Do you know where that's at?
Yeah, so there was an emergency order that was put forth by the governor and not necessarily by DPI to work with kindergarten through 6th grade. Unfortunately, much of what we typically recoup in membership at the elementary level will not be eligible to be counted towards instructional minutes. Certainly there will be some. We are still trying to pull together exactly what our programs will look like this summer. We do anticipate a certain delay as we try and prepare for more digital and online approaches, with the possibility of maybe some small groups as we get closer to the end of the summer. But yeah, that is all still a work in progress. And we will be, once we have all those details, we will send out notification to our families, just like we have with everything else, providing them details of what they can sign up for, and again, making the best of the situation that we have. But as far as determining what that may or may not look like, that's still a work in progress.
So the emergency order then does not allow us to count the membership of all of our students K through 12. It would only allow us to count the membership of students 7 through 12 with some opportunity to recoup some of that younger grade number, right?
Well, it would allow for grade K6, but it would be restricted to things that the majority of our summer school offerings were. A lot of it were enrichment opportunities for our students. Things like our STEM camp at the secondary will not be eligible, and we used to use that for membership counts as well. So again, the elementary, they are eligible K6, but not to the degree of what we've had and reaped in previous years, just due to the nature of what the order established.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question that I've got for you is regarding a question surrounding spring sports. And we had talked about the last meeting, the idea of graduating seniors being able to participate in some spring sports even after they technically graduated. And I had asked you a question about whether our insurance company would provide coverage for us for non-enrolled students, because those students wouldn't be enrolled. So I was wondering if you'd made any headway on that question.
essentially that is something from the fact sheet. Yes, we did look into it. The students would be covered because they are WIAs. You know, if they would be part of a WIA sanctioned activity, they would be covered regardless if they were graduated or not. But the main issue here is whether we will even have those 30 contact days that were put out by WIAA. As mentioned previously, the Wisconsin Department of Health has put together suggestions, not orders, but suggestions or recommendations related to graduation, that they are now suggesting we not even have graduations, face-to-face graduations through summer. And that was, again, a decision that was made and determined as late as last week, Friday. And so as a result of that, then what does that mean for these 30 days that WIAA had mentioned? Again, that's really our yes, we did look into it because they're WIAA sanctioned. The kids would be covered, but the bigger question is whether we'll even be able to move forward with that at all or not.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you looking into that. That does help me understand better that, we'd be covered. I was just concerned about any liability that we may have. So thank you so much. Those are all my questions.
All right, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Helmer, a second by Ms. Manley to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none. Diana, please call the roll.
Mr. Helmer?
Yeah.
Ms. Manley?
Yes.
Ms. Crosby?
Yes.
Mr. Kurth? Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. Unger?
Yes.
Ms. Wondercheck?
Yes.
That moves us on to our regular agenda. Item A on our regular agenda is the long-range plan and facilities follow-up.
So as the board has given us some guidance and direction on how we best move forward, given the uncertainty of our future budget, at least in the immediacy, we have determined that we're going to put any sort of capital expense, capital level type expense for any facility needs on the back burner until, again, we have some better idea of what our future revenue will be from the state. There is a piece that we do need to consider now that that the ground has thawed and now that we have a better idea of what's going on. There is one project that we want to bring to your attention. We are not seeking necessarily approval today. We will be bringing this back once we have some more the bid specs and the details, and we finalize the exploration that's being made. But essentially, we have storm drain issues at Elmwood, and specifically what I'm referring to are the storm drains that, as you enter in both the north and south drives into the parking lots, literally as you pull in there, it's those storm drains that are just underneath, just off the side of the road. And those are essentially, the cast iron frames are failing and are no longer securely supporting the drainage grates that cross each of the entrance. So for example, as traffic or vehicles drive over the entries where the drains are located, because of these failing frames, the grates have a tendency to rise and they've actually caused damage to some vehicles. We are in the process of identifying the scope of the project, and we're taking bids at this time. We anticipate that, and again, please note that we had to wait due to the weather, but as the weather has gotten better, and now that we actually have our own staff in place, we are exploring what options we have based on the bids and the exploration, where we could be doing some of this work ourselves as well. We would be looking at possibly on the high end, and again, I would ask the board not to quote me on this at this time, because of the exploration that we're still doing, that it could cost anywhere upward to about $75,000 to address the iron frames, the cast iron frames that are installed. And our goal is to bring you the scope of the work with dollars attached as soon as we are able. Andy has already put together the bids and continues to explore. And we will provide more details as we have them, but we didn't want the board to be caught off guard with this possibility. I do know that Mitch, as the chair of the committee for the facilities, was aware of this, but maybe not to the degree that we are now know that we have the unfrozen ground and are able to explore a little bit more. Again, we're not seeking approval tonight, but we will be bringing this back. And again, we do recommend that that we do move forward based on Andy's suggestion on this. And again, he would be available for comment, questions, or concerns once we bring this back to the board. Mitch, anything you'd like to add from your perspective?
Just one quick thing. I know we talked last meeting about, I had asked if there was anything that we needed to get done before the summer, and this was one of the concerns that I had. The other one is the retention ponds too. So can you just have Andy do a double check on those and make sure that we don't need to get any of that done?
Yes, and actually the great part about it is I did follow up with Andy on that, Mitch, and they have been able to do a lot of the work internally. So we're saving a lot of dollars because our own staff are able to address that work. He is working in concert with the city as needed, and we are at this point doing what we need to do to make sure that we are moving forward in the right direction. So again, that is already being addressed with our internal staff.
Okay, good to hear. Thanks. And then we'll probably have a follow-up meeting. We'll probably have a facilities meeting in the upcoming week so we can discuss anything else further on this. Thanks for the update, Joe.
All right, moving on to item B is the math resource selection recommendations.
So I know that we've got a great presentation before you, so I'm not going to get into all the detail. I will hand it over to Kelly, your Chief Academic Officer, to kind of kick this off, and then we'll share, I think, what is a very well done presentation related to our math resource recommendation. Per board policy, we need to bring forth our recommendations to the board, allow the board some time to review resources, and then we will be seeking approval at an upcoming meeting. Kelly, can you please kick this off for us?
Sure. So Kelly and Royce put together a presentation that is going to start for you in just a couple of seconds probably. And they have been working diligently over the past almost a year and a half with our math curriculum, making sure that they're looking at our data. And then once we've aligned the curriculum, they kind of dug in and looked at various resources that we could utilize for our students to grow and be stronger mathematicians. So I will allow the presentation to speak for itself, and then Kelly and Royce are also on the call, so I just wanted to personally thank them and all of the teachers that have been involved, as well as parent input for this process. So I will let the presentation start, please.
Good evening, everyone. We're here to take you through the math alignment process that we went through as a district. My name is Royce Linder. I am the Director of Elementary Teaching and Learning here in the School District of New Berlin.
I'm Kelly Kwiatkowski, Director of Secondary Teaching and Learning for the School District of New Berlin. The review process started in spring 2019 when we started looking at our data and started looking at different resources. So why did we start this review process? Well, June 30th, many of our online access codes and ebooks expire. So we wouldn't have access to any of our online resources, and many of our workbooks also cease to ship to us at that point?
Right, like Kelly said, at the elementary side, we had reached the end of our 7-year cycle with Pearson through the Envision product. That product really was their very first version that came out right when the new Wisconsin standards came out as well. So in addition to the online resources being expired, our print resources were pretty dated, and it really did not make sense for us as a system to continue to order and bring in those consumable resources if we didn't have the online support as well. And knowing that there's probably things out there that are a little bit better over the last 7 years.
So we started by looking at our data as well as looking at our expectations for all of New Berlin students. So by doing that, we look at which standards we use at each grade level. And you can see that within the 3 circles, elementary, middle school, and high school, which standards are most prevalent in each grade level. You might wonder why ACT is at elementary, but it's really important that they get a strong algebraic foundation and a strong number sense at the elementary level. Both of those are in the ACT standards. Additionally, it's really important that a resource helps students develop skills to achieve mastery of these standards and not just expose them to the standards.
This slide really takes us through the steps in the process. We really wanted to make sure we started by taking a look at ourselves first, taking a look at where our data said that we were strong, where our data said that maybe we needed to have resources that were going to help bolster some of our student performance. And we also really wanted to take a look at the standards themselves and say, are there areas that we need to make sure that we are aligned, or are we off a little bit, so that when we go into our new resources, we can make sure to correct any areas that we really feel need attention. The other step that we thought was really important here was also getting input from our families. Our families are very engaged and knowledgeable about what they want to see in math resources, so getting input from our families was important as well. So the additional steps that are there really kind of take us all the way up to tonight's presentation to you, which will ultimately end in a recommendation from our group. Like all things we do, we want to make sure that we are keeping the strategic goals in mind. When we're taking a look at resources for our students, the goal that really comes to mind first is going to be, how is it going to impact their achievement? We want to make sure that the resources do support the achievement of our students, not only academically, but also in terms of their college career and life readiness. So when we took a look at resources, we really wanted to make sure we were looking at things like rigor, productive struggle, things that are going to build a growth mindset, and opportunities for students to have discourse with their peers. In addition to that, we of course wanted to keep in mind the fiscal responsibility side of things as well, to make sure that we are aware of what the cost of these resources is going to be for us as a system.
So keeping in mind cost, these are the other elements and factors that we considered and rated while looking at our resources. You can see that we have universal design for learning. This is something that we expect in a resource, that it has the flexibility to plan for all students on the educational continuum, whether it's students who are really struggling or our brightest students who really need more enrichment to thrive. We examined a lot of resources. These are the resources that we specifically took a deep dive into. We looked at ed reports to find out the best resources at each level, but some of those resources we didn't take a deep dive because either they were too pricey or they didn't fit with our expectations here at New Berlin.
So on to the recommendations. Ultimately, all of that work has led us to a recommendation to you as a school board. Really starting at the K-5 level, we're looking at going forward with a McGraw-Hill product known as Reveal. So that Reveal product really does check the boxes that we were looking for as far as rigor, as far as alignment to mathematical practices, opportunities for personalization with additional resources such as Redbird, which is it's a program that students in K2 will really be using to help kind of meet where they are, make things a little bit more universal and even a little bit more targeted, and also using Alex for grades 3 and up at the elementary level as well. So these resources, along with the quality product that Reveal is, really led us to that decision.
You can see we continue that instructional programming through 6 through 8. We're also recommending Reveal with the use of Alex. And if you're not familiar with Alex, it's something that we use in our advanced math courses during summer school. It's a personalized learning tool. So students take assessments and then they're placed in categories within that skill to be able to start where they need to learn. So it's very personalized and it will help us within the Universal for Design for Learning framework. So it'll allow our teachers to be flexible and really teach and assess for each specific learner in their class. Something else that we liked with Reveal at the middle school level, it already had access to Sketchpad for geometry, as well as some decimals, which is some online graphing use. It also was based off of some research-based practices. 9 through 12, we are switching it up. We currently use CPM. So CPM is a very collaborative resource. We already know the pros and cons of the resource. We've already started building in some of the skill toolkits for our students and have enriched CPM with some additional ACT practice problems. So we feel really confident in our use of CPM and suggest, based off of feedback, that we continue with the updated versions. Additionally, it was one of our least expensive resources.
Yeah, I think one more thing too, a lot with Reveal. I think Kelly and I and other members of the group were also really excited about having a K-8 program. For a long time we've had K-5, and then we started a different set of resources for 6-8, which, at the elementary school in particular, you actually have, you're up to K-6 in that entire building. Also, we really did feel that Reveal, along with Alex and Redbird, provided the flexibility to take into account any adjustments we might even have to make going into next year for our learning environments. So it's a program, or it's a set of materials that we really kind of feel meet our needs on a variety of different levels.
Yes. Thank you for your time tonight. We look forward to any questions.
Thank you.
So I know that we have Kelly and Royce on the phone with us as well. So
what I would like to just mention is, the process at this point, the way that it looks is, we would ask you to set up an appointment if you are so interested, would be interested, setting an appointment with Diana, and we have a setup here in the district office where you can physically come and review the resources that we're looking at for K-12. We would also be willing to share other parts of it as needed. So that's kind of what we're seeking. And again, we're not seeking your approval today, but we will be looking for approval at the next meeting. I also did want to mention that whenever we have curricular resource revisions, such as something to the gravity, to the degree of how big the math realignment was, we typically are able to, and so Kelly, within her budget, similar to what we had to do with the science realignment, we took a multi-year approach in order to save up the dollars within her budget to be able to account for these substantial changes with some of these core courses. We're looking at approximately $480,000 K-12, and again, this also dips into the varying courses that are spread throughout the offerings at the high school level. So we're not just talking, your run-of-the-mill math courses or algebra courses. You're also talking about some of the other courses that we offer that are within our math programming at the district level. Again, as mentioned, the reasons why we are looking to make this move is because our current resources truly are outdated. They're no longer being supported. And again, we think that based off of what we know, based off of what other districts have done, based on the process that we put forward, we believe in the recommendation that we've provided. So again, I guess we'll open it up for questions if you have any at this time. And then meanwhile, as you do sign up to come and look at the resources, please contact me and I'll make sure that we get whatever question answered before we bring this back to the full board at the next meeting.
Hey, Joe, this is Mitch here. During the presentation, I didn't hear it mentioned, but Reveal doesn't have their product coming out until 2021 for K through 5. So are we adopting that in the spring, or do we have that advanced release copy, or how are we handling that?
Sure, I'd ask Royce to respond to that.
Hey, Mitch, it's Royce here. Yeah, so the rollout of the actual resource for Reveal at the K-5 level will be happening during the year. So what we're going to need to do is we will be putting together resources that will allow us to kind of construct a instructional program for our teachers to start the year, and we should be getting access to those resources probably more online than we would print, as far as just what we would have first by the middle of the year. So we will have to most likely rely more heavily on some of the resources such as Arrive and Redbird and Alex to start our year off, which, honestly, we're going to be working on quite a bit of diagnostic work at the beginning of the year anyways to kind of understand where our students are at the beginning of the year and how we can respond to really what we want them to be doing in whatever grade level they're at for the beginning of the year. So it's a little bit of it's going to be some flexibility that we will actually have that we can ultimately use to our advantage. And also, given the fact that we will be starting the use of the full Reveal suite come middle of the year, to allow us to really kind of roll that professional learning out for our teachers so they can really be ready for that launch, because that would have been one of the struggles, I think, anyways, to get people ready for use of a completely brand new resource in the fall.
Okay, thanks.
Are there any other questions at this time?
Again, we would have just encouraged the board, if you would like to come and take a look at the resources, please contact Diana. While Diana may not be the one that will let you into the district office, we will make sure that somebody can try and accommodate to your respective schedule should you choose to come in and review the resources. So, or even if you have questions intermittently, if you're not able to do that, please feel free to reach out to me and we'll try and get your questions answered.
All right, great. Moving on to item C is discuss, approve athletic and activities code of conduct.
Yeah, so what we were able to do is we did receive some feedback from Kate, who had some suggestions related to what we should include in the athletic code. Again, there were some edits that were suggested from our legal counsel, and they have been provided to you in the board packet. And certainly just trying to clarify some things as we look to make adjustments moving into the next school year. We're seeking your approval tonight. There was a first read at the last meeting. This will allow us to, hopefully, whenever things get back to normal, utilize this updated code of conduct for the upcoming, fall, the fall season, or this possible spring 30-day contact as well.
Hey, Joe, it's Mitch. I don't know if I heard that right. Were there changes since our last read?
Yes, there was a recommended change based on feedback that we received from Kate to provide more clarity in the code itself.
Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't see that in the minutes.
Yeah, so basically it was referring to a different policy for the specific scenarios in which the bullying and hazing portion applied. And so really all I did was just kind of put a little summary of scenarios and then point to the other document versus saying nothing in the code of conduct. I was worried that if families aren't reading the other longer policy document, that they may think that it's only applicable to, you know, very specific school events and not kind of a broader range of stuff. So just listing.
Okay, so it's not a material change, it's more of a referencing.
Correct. Yeah.
Additional clarity around it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Do I have a motion so we can begin discussion?
I move to approve the Athletics and Activities Code of Conduct as presented.
I have a motion by Mr. Kurth, a second by Mr. Helmer. So any discussion?
This is Chrislyn. I reviewed this and especially after our experiences in the past year, I think that these are positive changes that bring us some clarity on this policy and will hopefully bring clarity to our families and to students so that the expectations to them are clear and that we all can be on the same page and not be providing what looks like a courtroom experience, because I think there was a little bit of ambiguity on that in the previous policy, and I think that now it's been clarified. So I plan to vote for this.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, can we, Diana, can you call the roll?
Sure. Mr. Kurth? Mr. Helmer?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Crosby?
Yes.
Ms. Manley?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. Unger?
Yes.
Ms. Wondercheck?
Yes.
Motion
Yes.
passes. That moves us on to item D, first read, deleting the policy of 3326, paying for goods and services.
So as was recommended by the Finance Committee, they are proposing the deletion of this policy due to content redundancy following approval of policy 6320 purchasing. We're not seeking approval. This is just a first read. We recommend it, and we'll be seeking your approval at the next meeting.
Chrislyn, did you want to make any, as the chair of the Finance Committee, did you want to make any comments on this?
Sure. Thanks, Amy. Basically, we are going through, as the Finance Committee, we're going through all of our financial policies as a district, and it came to our attention at one of our recent meetings that there was some redundancy in our policy structure, which is why we're recommending that we delete this policy 3326 because of the fact that it's now handled by our new policy, which we have already passed, and we don't need that redundancy. So we're trying to sort of clean up our policy book. So that's why the committee recommended deletion of this policy.
Great, and we'll be voting on this at the next meeting. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Ms. Wondercheck on questions on that policy removal. Next item, item E, is action items from discussed in closed session. I believe there's one.
Yes, this is Susan. I move to approve the employment services report as presented.
Jeffrey Kurth, second.
A motion by Ms. Manley, a second by Mr. Kurth. Any discussion? Diana, can you call the roll?
Ms. Manley?
Yes.
Mr. Kurth?
Yeah.
Ms. Crosby?
Yes.
Mr. Helmer?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz? Ms. Unger?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Wondercheck?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is future meeting and dates. The next meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 26th, because Monday of that week is Memorial Day. Tentatively held in the Commons, or it will be a virtual meeting starting at 7 p.m. With a Finance Committee meeting preceding that at 5:30. June 8th will be either at the West Commons or virtual. And then June 22nd will be at the West Commons or virtual with a 5:30 Finance Committee preceding that meeting as well. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Kurth, a second by Ms. Manley. Please, Diana, can you call the roll?
Mr. Curtis? Ms. Manley?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Crosby?
Yes.
Mr. Helmer? Thank you, Ariela. Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. Unger?
Yes.
Ms. Wondercheck?
Yes.
Motion passes. The meeting is adjourned. Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Goodbye.